So, before I return to some of my regular videos, I want to address something that's important. I was uh, I was away on a trip, checking out some awesome games, and I saw my Twitter feed, and I didn't want to believe what I saw at first, and then reality hit me that it was really happening. That someone who I know and who was really nice to me, and one of the most gentle, kind people that you will ever know or meet in your life. I'm talking about Jew Wario, Justin Carmichael. Um, I met him through that guy with the glasses, and he does videos. You can play this, helping people out on import games, Japanese games. He loved all kind of games, really, but those were his favorite. And I probably will never have. I probably will never have the words to describe the type of person that Justin was to everybody around him. He was the nicest, gentlest, kindest soul. Uh, a lot of people say that about him. It's the first thing you're gonna hear every single time from anybody that you talk to who has met Justin. The words kind, gentle, and he was. More so than anybody I've ever met, and it's difficult to put into words. He would listen to you so intently, and you can tell in his eyes that he had actual love and care for what you said. And he would take the time, it doesn't matter how long it took, to listen to what was going on and offer you advice. And I remember spending uh, one of our that guy with the glasses movie anniversaries. I spent time with him in a hotel. We shared a room, and he walked into the room. I was already in there, and he was rolling this really light, like baby blue or a turquoise uh, luggage bag, and he had pink shoes, and he had his Juario hat on, which was bright yellow, and he looked like a coloring box. He was so bright, and that's the kind of person he was. He was a bright person, and you can tell. Uh, that he genuinely cared about other people. He cared about feelings and all of that stuff. He was in tune to it, and we talked about all sorts of things before we went to bed. It was so exciting being there. Just having made videos online, and we were given an opportunity to all come together and make a movie together. It was awesome, and he would tell me how amazing it was, and how people would come up to him and say that they've seen his videos, and how happy it made him, and I would tell him the same, and it was great, and we had so much fun doing that guy with the glasses activities, and then by the time it was all done, Justin was the one that he would give you these massive hugs. None of this shake your hand bullshit. And ever since then, I find that whenever I connect with somebody on that level, I used to just shake their hand when it was time to go, but no, fuck it, why? Let's hug it out. And Justin was, that type of person, and I feel like that's the type of people we all need to be, really. We really didn't get a whole lot of time to speak to each other as much as I would have liked, as much as I should have done. Uh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I knew this was gonna happen. I thought I could make a video without any pauses to try to honor the memory of Justin. But I just want to say that we all loved you, Justin. Everybody that
Hey guys, Boogie here, and I need to talk to you about a topic we've covered on the channel here before. But something happened over the weekend that means we need to talk about it again, and it's the topic of suicide. Um, Before we get started, if you've stumbled across this video because you're struggling and you need help, I want you to go to google.com right now. I want you to type in suicide prevention hotline, and I want you to call the number that Google gives you. Those people will help you. They've helped me before and they've saved my life. I hope you let them save yours too. I don't feel right talking about that YouTuber because I didn't know them personally and I don't know their family and I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to be crass. So instead, I want to talk about my experiences with suicide because it's something that has affected me greatly. And I want to talk to you about why you need to hold on if you can. When I was a kid, I was born into a small coal mining area of the country, and people there were not that happy. And I certainly wasn't happy there. I didn't feel like I fit in, I didn't feel like I belonged. I was born into a family that not only despised me, but abused me on a nearly daily basis. I grew up in what I believed at the time to be actual hell. And when I was 14, I was so sick of it, and I'd lost so much hope that I was ready to take my own life. And I looked up different ways at the library to come up with a way to do it. And the only way I could find was to asphyxiate myself. And fortunately for me, or unfortunately, I guess on some levels, I was so obese that I couldn't hang myself. And I could find no other real way to do it. I eventually did attempt to hang myself at one point, um, but I failed. I failed my suicide attempt, my first suicide attempt. And boy, am I glad I did. Because it was less than a year later that the very first really good thing ever happened to me. I went to a pre-collegiate program. I got outside of that small town. I got to see the world, and I got to be with people who never knew me as that fat, weird freak kid. And I got to get a glimpse of what my future could be like if I held on, if I tried, and I fought for it. And if you look at me right now, you'll see a man who still has a lot of struggles ahead of him. You'll see a man who still needs to beat his eating disorder. You'll see a man who still has to beat his mental disorders. You'll see a man who's still struggling. But my life is better. My life is infinitely better than I could have imagined on the day I tried to take my own life. And that's why I'm here to ask you tonight to hold on. Reach out to somebody who can help you. If you are suicidal, if you are having dark thoughts, if you've just simply given up hope, if you don't believe it's ever going to get better for you, I'm here to tell you that chances are you're wrong. You might be entirely right. You may be suffering from a mental disease you'll never beat. You may have a terminal disease that is never going to fix you. You may never achieve your dreams. That's true. But it still can get better. It could still be worth living. And even if you're right, even if you'll never be happy again, you can still make other people happy. You can volunteer at a shelter. You can be kind to the people around you. You can volunteer at a charity. You can dig wells in Africa. You have the opportunity to leave this place better than the reason you chose to leave it. So do me a favor. If you're struggling, if you're miserable, hold on. If someone you know is struggling and miserable, reach out a helping hand. Talk to that weird kid in your class. Talk to that kid that seems to be struggling, that nobody ever talks to. Maybe you are that kid. Talk to somebody who's nice to you. Reach out to somebody. Reach out to a parent. Reach out to a family member. Reach out to anybody who will listen. Call that suicide hotline tonight. But hold on. I promise you, there are good things left for you. 14-year-old me failed to kill himself, and boy, am I glad he did. While I have struggled throughout my life, and while I have a lot of struggles left ahead of me, I have lived some of my dreams. I have seen things that I never thought that I would see. I've experienced things that made me happy beyond expression. And I hope that you fight to find those things for yourself too.
You know what? I want you all to look at me. I want you all to look at me. I want you to, because what I'm about to say is important. I think I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I want you all to know this. This goes out to everybody. You're not stupid. Okay? You're not stupid. Don't ever tell yourself that you are. You're important. What you have in your head may not mean a lot to a lot of people, but it's what makes you special. You are important. You mean something. And you're going to go out there and you're going to do some wonderful things. But first and foremost, you're not stupid. You're not an idiot. Don't ever tell yourself that you are. And if nobody else ever tells you this, I will tell you this. I care about you. Thank you for coming to my stream today.
Hey everybody, Jew Wario here, and welcome to You Can Play This on YouTube. Now, what this series is all about is about importing video games, where I teach you how to do it with domestic and import consoles, and you don't have to know any Japanese to play these games. It's just that simple and just that much fun. So please take a look around. Enjoy it. If you have any comments, let me know what I can do better, or if you even have some import game ideas yourself, let me know that too. And be sure to check out my main website here at youcanplaythis.com. Hey everybody, J-Dub here for another I Like Candy, and with me is the ghostly Grace, and she's going to help me with this one because I got actually 2 packages by accident from the guy who does the I Like Candy, or who does Candy Japan. So I'm going to share one with Grace, and I haven't opened these up yet, so I have no idea what's inside. So let's find out what candy we get this time from Japan.
They always have cool candy.
Oh, you are going to be happy.
Oh my god. Well, it's peach.
It's a peach one. Now, I've never had Haichu before. I know everybody says that, Haichu is their... See what I get?
How can you not have had Haichu?
I've just never had a Haichu.
You poor man.
Sorry. And we got this kind of fruit gumball thing that actually has different flavors, but when you mix them, they become a completely different flavor.
What? Since when did orange and strawberry equal pineapple?
Or melon. Oh, you've got a different one that says pineapple. Okay, so these are completely different little things, but they're the same. But they're
strawberry,
different.
banana, melon. How? What?
Yeah. And
Whoa, wait. Isn't... Oh, we've got to do a Mario's Pipeline.
Do you have a script for that?
I don't. I don't know.
Justin, are there any games that you wish you'd beaten?
Games that I wish I'd...
Ferb, I know what we're gonna do today.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's Pipeline. My name's Juwario, and here with me, as always, is my buddy Shuki.
How's it going?
Now, you saw what the question was here, and, that's a good question. How many times have we played a game, stopped playing it, put it on the shelf for several months?
And never gone back to it.
And never gotten back to it. Well, my first reply was Zelda, Majora's Mask.
The one Zelda we couldn't come up with a mean thing to say about.
It was, so many people so many people like the Ocarina of Time a little bit more than Majora's Mask, but boy, this was a good game. This really was. I really liked the time travel aspect of it. I liked only having 3 days. It was interesting, and it followed up on the Ocarina of Time gameplay, which I really enjoyed. But between the two, I think this was my favorite. And unfortunately, there was one boss near the end, filled with bats, one eye in the middle of his forehead, and I cannot finish it. And I'm so close to the end, and I just can't finish it.
It's not happening.
Yeah, it's bugging the heck out of me. But that's one game that I wish I could finish. But right now, I'm just
Not gonna happen.
Not good skills. How about you, man?
One thing I really kind of wish I'd beaten was Tomb Raider. I knew this to be a good game. I read reviews for it. I'd seen it played. I played it. I owned it, obviously, at some point. But there was just something about it. It was so specific, like you had to develop a certain set of skills. And it was so tough, like you had to line up pixel precision in a 3D environment. I mean, we were playing Mario earlier, and I noticed that you had like one pixel to jump. It was the same thing, but Mario, like, you've got your pixels, and they're right there. But Tomb Raider, suddenly it's like the pixel could be out here.
You have to
It could be
jump
out
off
here.
a wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Spinning you out.
I think I got a good halfway through it, and I just couldn't get any farther. I wanted to go back and play the Anniversary Edition that came out for next-gen systems. Maybe someday. I don't know. Apparently it suffers from the same problems.
Wow.
So,
Well, and a lot of PS1 games did that.
yeah, exactly. We're just getting into 3D, just getting into that realm. So, what about you? What else do you have?
Another one that I just feel really bad that I hadn't finished, and I want to, is Final Fantasy VII.
You and me both, buddy.
Oh, gosh. My problem was I played the heck out of it. I went through the alternate storylines. I searched every nook and cranny. I spent a lot of time on this game. And the one item that I didn't understand, I used too soon when I was going down in the caverns.
At the very end.
Yeah, at the very end.
Oh, wow.
And it was a save point because the entire third disc is
the crater, and I used it too soon, and I guess I could grind my way up to be a 99, but I'm not going to do that. I've spent way too much time in it already, and no. So unfortunately, I've just never finished it. But boy, I really like the game. I really like the game.
Yeah.
You got any others?
Oh, I'd say the Chrono series.
Oh, Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross.
Yeah. Again, also games I've known to be good, but I just couldn't get into them. And I find it really hard to get into JRPGs, especially. But I mean, I started it, and the story just looked amazing, and the things that I'd heard, and the way you go back and forth, and how things change. I mean, it just sounded so interesting. But I never got more than an hour into it. And a friend of mine regularly pesters me. It's like, oh, have you played this game yet? Have you played that game yet? And this one is always in there eventually. Just, no, I haven't. But, definitely want to sometime. Well, and that's the funny thing, too, is that I can get into, next-gen games. I can get into, the Bethesda games, like Fallout 3. And just recently I've been playing Fallout 3 again and grinding the hell out of it.
Really?
And somehow I can find my way around doing that.
But just not Chrono Trigger, Chrono
Cross.
Something
about this game. It's so pretty, too. But I don't know what's wrong with me.
Might be that gen. Well, and there's one that we can both definitely agree on, and that's Okami.
Yeah.
I've played Okami quite a bit. I know you had been started it a little bit.
Yeah, started it. Wanted to play it on the Wii.
Has anybody even finished this damn game?
I don't think they have. I think the game people on Game FAQs, maybe. Did any reviewer even finish it?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. How many reviewers actually finished it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've got a month and you need to review 4 games and you've got a week per game, how deep can you really get into a game like this or, Chrono Trigger in a week? If you've got, say, 50 hours, theoretically you could sit down for 48 hours and play 2 days and beat the game, but you're not going to know.
Well, and I wonder if they're missing things that could help them in their review.
Exactly.
That they just don't touch. They don't figure out because they haven't gone all the way through. And who's to say that a game is fun all the way through and then the final boss sucks?
Yeah, exactly.
And it just ruins the entire game.
I mean, how many times have you lost interest about something? It's like, boom, there it is, and it's not interesting anymore.
Oh, this is a good game. I'm bored.
So how many of these games actually have that going on?
Well, I know that a lot of people can't go through the RPGs too much.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy and Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger.
And how much of that, I mean, they're so similar. The style. You can pick up any JRPG and just play it.
Well, yeah, similar fighting things, similar... and just the storytelling aspect a lot, too. Majora's Mask... the repetition, I think that's why people don't like that game as much as other games, because it's just repetition.
Really?
But I find the repetition and all the hidden things within the repetition to be the interesting aspect and the key point for that game. But I can see how people would just get bored.
Just get bored. There it is.
Yeah.
See you later.
How about Tomb Raider?
Tomb Raider? Yeah, I think Tomb Raider suffered from some of that. Got into some different areas, and I personally had a problem with it. Got kind of claustrophobic.
Really?
There was one section I remember with dinosaurs, and it was really closed in, and there was this one area that you had to jump, and it was jump from here to here. You couldn't see here though, so it was you had to set up this leap of faith, and this wasn't Mirror's Edge where you could just run along the wall and then jump off of it and do it slow motion.
Hey everybody, Jew Wario here. This is my Cribs episode. You'll notice that I have a bunch of SNES carts and a bunch of NES carts. Now these cubicles I actually got from a site from a place here in Colorado Springs that just happened to have these, and they happen to have a Super Nintendo one. The Sufami carts don't fit so well. They kind of slide around because they're different shaped. You can see that the Super Nintendo carts fit just right on in there. Then I have more Sufami carts in order. I try and keep everything in alphabetical order. Then my Famicom cart collection, half of it. See, Famicom carts are the exact same size as cassette tapes. And so you can use cassette tape holders to hold your Famicom carts. I've got some knitted mushrooms from my good friend Emerald, who is the girlfriend of Shuki. Very nice Wario cart. You've seen that before from a fan, one of my first fan. Something that a fan was nice enough to send me. That's awfully fantastic. I've got it right here all the time. Some of my Ataris. Once again, I got that holder at one of the game stores. I've got a Famicom clone. Then I have some Famicom disc carts that I have. Most of them are in packages, but like the very first one I ever got is not. My Goomba. No, I didn't make him. I actually won him from a UFO catcher when I was in Japan in 2006, and I'm a big Wario fan. I had to get the Wario one. So then we go into NES carts. Once again, I got the thing from a game store, a used game store here in the Springs. I have some of my Japanese DES games and the ends of my NES, my N64 games. I've got my
Hi everybody. So yeah. Finally getting this finished. Obviously this one's taken a long time. I couldn't really do this video without a little bit of a preface on it. It's been very difficult to edit this one together. I was almost not sure I was going to do it when the news came. But I really wanted to have something that Justin worked on finished, especially this, because he put in a lot of work on this. He helped write it. He was fantastic on the set, such as it was, and it would have been a shame for you not to see this. I miss him a lot every damn day. And he was so funny and so positive and just such a great person to work with. And I really wanted to share this because I wanted you guys to remember just how awesome he was. And I did want to mention that this was made before the news went down, obviously, and some parts of it may seem a little strange given the circumstances, but just remember, this was us being us. This was us farting around and having fun doing something we love, enjoying working with each other, and I didn't want you to think any of this was made disrespectfully or in any way to minimize what happened. Just understand this is a lot of this was Justin. He wrote a lot of this and he thought a lot of it was funny, and we thought a lot of what he did was hilarious. And keep that in mind. It's not done out of, I don't know. It's done because we love him. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it like we did just by having him in our lives. Thank you.
Hey guys, did you know that there was a god-awful pilot for Doctor Strange? Oh, and I thought that since Linkara does comics, that'd be...
What are you guys looking at me like that for? What, was it something I said? Oh God. Oh God! No! No! No!
And I fold.
Ha! You mess with the bull, my friend, and you get the horns. You owe me 3 classic Doctor Who reviews that are positive, and a cameo of you in Assless Chaps.
Yahtzee!
Oh god, could the pizza guy be any slower?
Speak of the devil, everything's coming up Linkara.
Bingo?
Hello, my good man. What do I owe you?
Pain!
Well!
Stop. Don't. Come back.
I was in a coma for a year because you idiots went all zombie crazy over a stupid movie!
Look, it's really hard to set up dialogue, to establish the premise if you are choking me.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Look, you gave a horrible comic book movie to 3 geek reviewers. What did you expect was gonna happen?
That we would watch it together!
Well, sure makes sense, why don't you?
Why don't we watch it now? Okay, well, who's got the DVD?
Well, where is it?
Pretty sure I ate it.
What?
I eat when I get nervous.
You also get incredibly stupid when you're nervous.
No, it's a pretty constant thing.
Well, so how do we watch it now? Poundland!
This is America. We don't have Poundland.
This is America?
Relax, I got this covered. The internet will provide.
You can find rare old movies on the internet? But how?
Well, you see, what we gotta do is really good when it's all quiet. And the very first thing you gotta do in that don't tell anyone I told you to do this. Ha 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 ha. Now, the next part of that is in and out and in and out, and that's always the fun part of that. But here's the really complicated part. Now, sex all the time, and I'm just, but you know what? I'm just gonna really, really bizarre. But thankfully, this is like Fat Grandma all over again.
Wow.
And I thought that was where babies came from. Well, let's do this thing.
You know, if we're gonna keep doing this every year, one of you cheap bastards is gonna have to spring for a room with a bigger bed.
Not the first time I've been told that.
In 1978, CBS commissioned a pilot for a television series based on longtime Marvel hero Doctor Strange. After the success of The Incredible Hulk, the idea of using another superhero as the basis for a show seemed like a recipe for success.
But it was something of an odd choice. Doctor Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme, charged with guarding the entirety of our reality from threats beyond the realms of mortal imagining. Not only was it very high concept for a normal TV audience, but the villains and settings in his stories tended to be elaborate and challenging to translate to the screen.
Even writer-director Philip DeGeer had trouble working with the material, even though he was given full creative control on the project, as had been done with The Incredible Hulk. The result was a pilot that ended up both over budget and over schedule, pretty much slitting the show's neck before it ever got off the ground.
Nonetheless, the pilot aired on CBS in 1978, directly opposite the groundbreaking miniseries Roots. Under the weight of the budget-heavy, effects-laden, and just plain bizarrely written pilot,
And coupled with being utterly destroyed in the ratings, the only magical thing about Doctor Strange is that it even got made in the first place.
You know, it sounds like a lot of hard work and effort went into this project. Is it really that bad?
I don't know. Ask all the folks who stood in line for the Phantom Menace.
Ah, you just used up our entire allotment of Lucas bashing for the review. Now what are we supposed to do? Be witty?
We open on a bunch of generic, mystical-sounding gibberish.
Did we put in Highlander by mistake?
What is that sound? Someone running a herd of bagpipes through a slaughterhouse?
Sounds like a Super Nintendo having sex with the New York Philharmonic.
Master.
Beta.
For the last time, that's not how you play Marco Polo.
Wow, Stan Lee's cameos keep getting weirder.
500 years ago, you failed me, Morgan. You allowed the greatest of the sorcerers on Earth to overcome you. My victory was denied to me because of you.
Long ages have I contemplated my revenge. This time I will not fail.
Apparently, magic is defined as telling each other shit we already know.
So this is Morgan Le Fay, played by Jessica Walter. She's being charged by her nameless demon master to seek out and kill a heroic wizard named Lindmer.
Wait, Lindmer. Merlin? Really? Are we gonna meet King Thurart and Sir Lotalance too?
She's also tasked to seek out and kill Lindmer's future apprentice before he can pass on his powers.
Who is to be the successor?
Look for the ring at the ancient symbol. The one who wears the ring is the one who is chosen.
Oh, I know, it's Hal Jordan.
No, it's Frodo Baggins.
No, it's shut the hell up.
While Morgan and Mr. Potato Demon make their plans, Lindmer and his manservant Wong make plans of their own.
You've never shown me this book before. You've never noticed it. It's 500 years old. Morgan was worshipped by a devil cult in the 15th century. And she hasn't aged. Working evil has a few advantages.
Huh, that's funny. You haven't aged much either, Justin.
Is anyone else about to crap themselves right now?
Too late!
So, just who is this mysterious future apprentice? Why, it's a young Ron Jeremy.
And he has about the same rapport with the ladies.
Now, Sarah, if I'd been out with you, I wouldn't have been late.
We made a deal.
I never agreed to it. I think it's fine for doctors and nurses to fall in love.
Falling in love wasn't the question. It was making love.
Oh.
Isn't that sexual harassment?
Nah, this is the 1970s. Treating women like people hadn't been invented yet.
This is Dr. Stephen Strange, a resident psychologist in a New York hospital and also a vector for multiple STDs.
Hang on, no. Dr. Strange wasn't a psychologist. He was a too-proud surgeon whose hands were crushed in an accident. He traveled the world seeking a way to heal his hands and regain his skills, but his search led to becoming the apprentice of the powerful Ancient One, learning humility and starting on the path to becoming a true hero.
Well, in this movie, he has absolutely no problems and is completely perfect.
We cut out the middleman! Movie over! Everybody go home!
What else have you been drinking?
Not a drop.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Oh, well, I gotta have a little now and then.
Otherwise, I start to hallucinate that people's heads are morphing into poodles. Oh God, not again!
Pains, and I can't sleep nights. Give me a little something, Doc, won't you? Just this once?
No.
Suffer!
Elsewhere, Morgan Le Fay has made her way to New York and is seeking out Lindmer by way of scaring small children with her crazy eyes.
Oh, hang on, guys. There's a cat running on the keyboard somewhere. Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
Morgan finds and establishes a psychic connection with Clea because she pretty much seems to be the first person who caught her attention.
So, our villain has the predatory instinct of a drunk frat boy.
You shall not pass me, Morgan.
Your barriers have fallen. You cannot stop me now.
Is this telepathy, or did the editor completely botch up the ADR?
You forced the choice, old man.
Morgan possesses Clea to sneak up on Linmer. Her attack of choice?
Titty Twister of Doom!
Oh no! I've fallen, and I can't get up.
I'm not sure if the effects guy knew the difference between magic and highly radioactive.
I confronted Morgan and provoked her into attacking me. I forced her hand, but the effort cost me more than I had anticipated, and there was the complication. She used a girl as an instrument.
Like a tuba?
Lindmer declares that Clea is important and must be found because... stuff, I guess. Anyway, she's at home watching a much better movie than this one.
She goes to bed, but has a horrible nightmare about running in place.
Ladies and gentlemen, our regular soundtrack composer could not be with us tonight, so we bring you the dulcet tones of Blue Oyster Cult.
What are you doing out here all alone?
I don't know.
Come on, I better take you to cab.
And she was never seen again. The end!
Hi. Name? Did something happen to you?
Yeah, she decided this pilot was a good career move.
Yeah. Doctor, I think you better get down to ER. I've got a Jane Doe for you. All right.
Hello, sexy time.
Cab driver brought her in. Found her wandering in the streets. No purse. Disoriented. Confused. Pretty well out of it.
Just like the audience.
Oh, you like that, don't you? You're a naughty Jane Doe. Yes, you are. Naughty Jane Doe.
It was an accident.
Were you in an accident?
If we're counting this boring-ass train wreck, then yes.
Clea is admitted to the psychiatric ward but refuses to go to sleep.
You can sit up in bed and watch television. How about that? Would you like some coffee?
Do I?
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
Meanwhile, Wong has filled Linmer in on both Clea and Strange's location, so Linmer goes to investigate. Before he does, he makes sure to lock the door. With magic!
Hey, I can do that too.
Hey! Which one of you idiots turned my copy of the film experience into a giant papier-mâché penis?
I'm a sorcerer!
Lindbergh shows up at the hospital to find Clea and rips off a much better movie.
There's a young girl in the psychiatric ward. She was transferred from the emergency room last night.
I'm sorry, sir. Visiting hours are from 3 to 6 in the afternoon. You'll have to come back later.
This is an unusual situation. I have pertinent information about the girl.
This is an unusual situation. He has pertinent information about the girl.
A New Hope came out in 1977 and this came out in 1978. Folks, I'm pretty sure this is the first official ripoff of Star Wars on record.
Linmer talks to Strange about his new patient.
I had an odd sort of dream. This young woman was in it. So were you.
Kinky.
Who are you?
There are some who would call me... Tim?
We can help this girl, Clea Lake. She's in grave danger. And I can promise you, the illness is beyond your capacity to cure by conventional means. But I must warn you, there's danger in it for you as well.
He's going to come out of there smelling of Bengay and shame.
Well, I think that's enough for now. Good day.
And before I go, have some cancer.
Strange goes to check in on his plot device, Thymine Patient.
Clea.
You know my name?
That's unusual for most of his dates.
Strange. You lied to her. You gave her Thorazine, the one thing she was afraid of. You put her to sleep.
A tranquilizer is not a sedative, Doctor.
That's like saying a howitzer isn't a handgun. Right before you shoot someone in the crotch.
As the Thorazine puts Clea in a coma, Strange seeks out Lindmer so he can wake her up long enough to fondle her some more.
Ah, wonderful decor. A great example of neo-postmodern Flintstone.
My father gave me this ring, or actually left it to me in his will. The design on it's the same as your attic window. I also saw it on your calling card.
So it is.
Well, what's going on here?
More than meets the eye.
Lindmer explains that he and Stephen's father knew he was destined for magic.
You're a very unusual man. Your father and I both recognized it when you were born. You've been gifted with a clear mind and a love for humanity, hence your choice to become a doctor. Also, some latent talents, which even you are not aware of yet.
What are these powers at your command?
The Hermetic arts.
Kermit was a magician?
No. Hermetic arts, not Kermetic arts.
Oh. I'm Doctor Strange.
That was pretty good.
Don't encourage him!
I used to feel I was the one meant to die in that accident, that somehow it was my fault.
I believe the accident was intended for you. Your parents died to protect you.
Wow, Harry Potter was weird in the 70s.
Dreaming is a form of astral travel. On the lower planes, where it's harmless. Unfortunately, Clea's consciousness has gone on to the higher planes. As a result of the shock she experienced when evil took possession of her. She's lost. She literally can't find her way back.
Yes, that's what lost means. Any other words you want to define for us, Webster?
If anything should approach you, or if there's any danger at all, I want you to say exactly these words.
Klaatu Barada Nature.
And then we... Holy hell! What in the bouncing blue ball sack just happened? Did we get dosed or something?
I feel fine.
Me too.
My head is made of butter. I'm the dancing queen.
As Doctor Strange undergoes the Jimi Hendrix experience, Morgan sends forth one of her minions, the Black Knight.
You have lost her, mortal. Come with me and save yourself.
In the name of Ryle, the scourge of demons, I command you, be gone!
Be gone!
That's it? I've seen 6-year-olds in a slap fight that had more dramatic tension.
Strange finds Clea, and they either leave the astral plane or go to war. It's hard to tell.
You lost him.
I want my mommy!
This mortal, Stephen Strange, is the one chosen by Lindmer to succeed him. Thrice you had the opportunity to slay him, and thrice you stayed your hand. Why, Morgan? Why have you spared him?
I am still a woman. And the man attracted me.
So she didn't kill him because she's horny? Is he Doctor Strange or Ron Burgundy?
You bartered human love for power. You made a covenant with me. Would any mortal man desire you if he saw you thus?
If that's a veiled criticism about me, I won't hear it and I won't respond to it.
So Clea's out of her coma and playing pool? You know, like you do. So Strange just walks her home.
doctors aren't supposed to get involved with their patients.
Oh, I know, but I'm not your patient anymore.
Helping you with your homework might be considered a professional interest.
Well, does that mean I have to pay for it?
No, I'm the one who usually has to pay for. You meant something else.
After making a date with Clea, Strange goes back to confront Lindmer.
I don't know what you did to me last night. I don't want to know.
That's the first time you've been on the other side of those words.
Call me a rational man, I am. I want to stay that way.
Doctor, Wong, excuse me, Master, but let me speak, please.
Why do you call him Master?
Hey, what consenting adults do in the privacy of their own sanctum sanctorum is their own business.
Strange has decided shit's gotten too weird, but before he goes, he makes a new friend.
Hello, Kitty. Do you live here?
Did he expect the cat to answer him? Huh? Oh, shut up now.
Hey, look, Justin, cat girl.
I'm sad now. You can't be in here. This house is sealed against you.
Your Stephen carried me across the seals. His aura protected me.
Remember, kids, that adorable stray cat might turn out to be an evil sorceress. Have your Morgan Le Fay spayed or neutered today.
Bitch, please.
Oh, damn, that sucks.
Hi, everybody. So yeah. Finally getting this finished. Obviously this one's taken a long time. I couldn't really
You can never get rid of the smell of burnt manservant. I know, I've tried.
Now that Wong has become one with the carpet, Morgan heads off to find Lindmer.
Ku Klux Klan powers, activate!
And this is why racism is bad.
Elsewhere, Strange and Clea are getting prepared for their date. The saxophone music in the background says so.
Home, sweet home.
You ought to see my place. It makes this look like heaven.
I'll be ready in a minute. Can I offer you something?
I'd love a hot bath.
Oh, the 70s, where all you needed was a bad perm and a turtleneck, and you'd be halfway to Happy Town in under 2 minutes.
Morgan's feeling a little bit jealous, so she pops out of the mirror and puts Clea back in that pesky coma.
She won't be harmed if you come with me.
Come with you where?
Just come.
Morgan takes Strange back to the astral realms and he completely misses the fact that she's the bad guy.
You're beautiful.
Look at yourself.
I look ridiculous!
Morgan tries to seduce Strange into removing his magic ring, but when he refuses, she shows him what she's done with Lindmer.
You know, for a wizard, he's a hell of a scarecrow.
Take off the ring and throw it into the weapon. Don't defy me, Stephen, or I'll take my pleasure from you in another way.
It involves Crisco in a pipe wrench.
Did he just figure that out?
Oh, stop it! Cut it out!
Having defeated Morgan, Strange rescues Lindmer and returns to the mortal realm. Morgan, on the other hand, is punished by being made really old. You know, demons don't dole out the vengeance like they used to.
Oh, am I supposed to be alive right now? Make up your mind, Death!
Wrong, thank God. Help me with him.
I think he popped his colostomy bag.
So Stephen chooses to accept his role as Sorcerer Supreme.
What will I be called upon to do?
Become more than a man, and renounce such earthly pleasures as are given to men who are only mortal.
Oh, well, screw that. See ya!
And finally takes his place as Dr. Fate? Oh, come on! What's next? Bruce Wayne, Moon Knight?
Now that Lindmer has transferred his powers, he's decided it's time for a good nap.
His pulse is weak.
He'll return to us. His work isn't finished yet.
I'm going to call an ambulance.
No! He doesn't have insurance! Do you know how much an ambulance ride costs? I'm not made of money!
So Doctor Strange becomes the guardian of magic and uses his vast new powers to screw with street magicians.
Watch closely, as from this handkerchief I will produce a beautiful bouquet of flowers.
Oh, those are those special flying pooping flowers. Those are the good kind.
You suck, David Blaine!
The end!
And that was Doctor Strange. So, how was it? Yeah. Like that.
This movie is all the 70s. Just a great big ball of goofy, silly, strange, and psychedelic. And it would be fine, except that the first 2/3 of it are absolutely mind-numbingly, agonizingly boring.
The film seems to forget what it's all about until almost the very end, at which point it proceeds to try and make up for lost time by going pants on head crazy. The script becomes incoherent, and it tries to make up for the lack of engagement by throwing out as many weird-ass effects as it can in rapid succession.
As a movie, it's mainly shot like a TV show. You could easily splice in footage of Quincy or Trapper John MD, and nobody would be the wiser. It doesn't take many risks. Hell, if it even did, I'm not sure you'd be aware of it because you'd probably be asleep.
As an adaptation of Doctor Strange, it doesn't really measure up either. I know liberties were taken with the Incredible Hulk, but it still retains the essence of the character. Here, Stephen Strange is a carefree playboy psychologist who doesn't undergo any growth or change because as far as the movie's concerned, he's awesome from the outset. Doctor Strange is a story of hubris and redemption, but this movie has none of that. Well, we watched it. Are you happy now?
You know, yeah. Yeah, I am. I mean, sure, it was a long, agonizing year spent while the world passed me by. But, you know, I got to spend time with my friends, you know, and it was really well worth it. See you guys.
I'm a sorcerer.
Son of a bitch!
Why don't we watch it now?
Okay, I guess. Who's got the DVD? Lewis?
I have to know which one of you idiots turned my copy of the film experience into a giant papier-mâché penis!
Calm down.
My head is made of butter! I'm a pretty pomegranate!
God damn it, John!
I'm a pretty pomegranate.
I just thought, God!
Till you realize my head is made of butter! I like potatoes!
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm really sorry.
No, it's perfect.
No,
Perfect.
you do that. You
That was
think of
awesome.
that.
Hold on, yeah.